Hey there, Tony Polecastro here from Tony's Acoustic Challenge. One of the most fun things you can do with your acoustic guitar is to experiment with different sounds. It can get those creative juices flowing, and ultimately, it keeps that dreaded guitar rut at bay. But when you think of the acoustic guitar, it's really hard to imagine it making any other sound than it naturally does. Which is why in today's video, I'm going to give you a jump start. I'm going to give you 5 quick and easy ways that you can get different sounds, or different tones, if you will, out of your acoustic guitar. Now, before we dive into the list, I do want you to know that I don't expect you to master any one of these techniques. I just want you to dabble, and if one really grabs your ear, then you can take it to the nth degree. So let's dive into the list. The first thing you can do to get a totally different sound out of your acoustic guitar is to try an alternate tuning. There is a ton of them to choose from. There are a ton of them to choose from. You've got open D, open G, drop D, dadgad, and that's just to name a few. There's minor variations, there's all sorts of crazy variations. It can make your guitar sound huge, and for the player, for you, it can make you look at your guitar in a completely different way. You're going to make weird connections. You might even write a song just by changing the tuning. This one's free, and this is my favorite tonal experiment. This is open D that I've got this guitar tuned to right now. It sounds absolutely beautiful, and it's just a great compositional tool. And again, like I said, it's a great way to look at your guitar through a completely different lens. The next tonal tweak that I want you to try is to go ahead and grab one of these things. Get a slide. I'm not very good at bottleneck slide. In fact, I love dabbling with it, but I would by no means call myself a slide guitar player. But it's a great way to unlock yet another sound out of your acoustic guitar. And since I already mentioned alternate tunings, the slide pairs fantastically with alternate tunings. You can put it on your ring or pinky finger and just mess around with it. You can try it with just the high string. Or you can try full chords. Either way, it's a great way to, again, look at your guitar through a completely different perspective. Now, the next thing that I want you to check out, the next thing that can alter the tone of your acoustic guitar, are the strings that you choose to put on it. Now, you could spend anywhere from $5 to $25 or even more on a set of strings, but I want you to know that each set of strings that you try out will pull a different sound out of your guitar. Depending on the gauge, you can go from a light gauge to a medium gauge or vice versa. You can try a different alloy. You've got a ton here. 80-20 bronze, phosphor bronze, which is my personal favorite. You've got nickel wound, which is you usually find in like a retro or a vintage string. And you've also got even titanium. So there's a ton of different options for the make of the string. Then you factor in the gauge, and then there's also other options for the construction of the string. Some of them are based on tension with a slimmer core wire, which makes fingerstyle a lot easier. It's like the strings feel a little bit looser under your fingers. Or you can try something like a silken steel, which will ultimately mellow the tone and feel completely different under your fingers. But again, each and every set of strings that you try is going to pull a different sound out of your acoustic guitar. The next thing that I think is a huge, huge tonal experiment, and one that might seem really obvious, but maybe you haven't tried, is to just slap a capo on your guitar. And this, you might be thinking, okay, Tone, that's a real softball tip right there. But here's the deal. I want you to try capoing without any sort of thinking about what key your guitar is in. I just want you to try capoing with the aim, the specific aim in finding where your guitar sounds amazing or different. In this case, this is a 1958 single 018 Martin, and I found that when I put the capo on the 5th fret of this guitar absolutely lights up. It sounds super resonant and big for even a small guitar, and it doesn't sound like that without the capo. So there's something about the capo on the 5th fret that pulls a certain resonance out of this instrument that makes it sound huge and amazing. And I want you to find that on your guitar. So the capo is a great tonal experiment. The next thing, and this one's a very surprising one because not only does it seem obvious, but I'm going to share with you something that's a little bit less obvious that you've had in your control the entire time. So the last and final tonal experiment I want you to try is to mix up the pick that you use. Okay, picks come in a variety of shapes, thicknesses, and materials. And each material, just like strings, is going to sound different. Each shape is going to bring a little bit different character to the tone of your guitar. So check this out. The softer the material that the pick is made out of, the more mellow, warm, or round the tone that you're going to get. The harder the material that the pick is made out of, the more articulate and stringy the sound is going to be. And the quicker it'll actually move through the string. Also, you've got the shape factor. Some pick shapes are super fat, and some are super thin and pointy. Those thin, pointy picks are going to give you a little bit more articulation and a little bit more stringy zing. Whereas those bigger shapes, because of the more surface area, is going to give you a fatter, round, a little bit more woody tone. Some of my favorite picks are the blue chip picks. I also like the Ultex picks by Dunlop, the sharp ones specifically. And also Red Bear picks. That's a great kind of swath of different materials and shapes to pick from. But go ahead and try picks out on your own. Again, this is an experiment that can range in price anywhere from, $1 all the way up to $40 for some picks. But it's well worth it because I'll tell you what, once you find that pick that pulls the most amazing tone out of your guitar, you don't want to lose it. In fact, I would encourage you to buy more than one. And on that same topic of the pick, one of the things that you've had in your control the whole time is where you pick the guitar. In fact, on the acoustic guitar, we almost feel sometimes like we're at a disadvantage as an acoustic guitar geek because we have no knobs to alter the sound of our guitar. But the tone knob for an acoustic guitar is the pick, because the closer you pick towards the saddle of your guitar, the more bright and stringy and brilliant the tone will be. Whereas if you move your pick towards the sound hole or the fretboard of the guitar, you get a much more round and mellow tone. So a lot of times I'll like to play rhythm over the sound hole because it offers a little bit more of a mellow sound. And if I'm going to play lead, I'll play that by the saddle because it gives me that punch and that articulation that I want. So go ahead and experiment with all of those things. Try a different tuning, try the slide, even if you don't know what the hell you're doing. Try slapping a capo on, try different strings, and ultimately mess around with picks and the location in which you're hitting the strings. I think you'll find with just those 5 things, there is a myriad of tones for you to try. I hope this lesson helped you unlock the full tonal potential of your acoustic guitar. Please let me know in the comments below which experiment you tried and how it went. And of course, if you have any other experiments you want to share with your fellow guitar geeks, do that in the comments as well. If you're ready to have way more fun with your acoustic guitar and get better in the process, you really need to check out Tony's Acoustic Challenge. It's an acoustic guitar program like nothing you've ever seen before. Please click the link here in the video or in the description below to learn more about it and how it can take your playing to the next level. And don't hesitate to request your invite today.